At number 24, we have Shade. Shade is in this number 24 spot simply because it does not do anything. Barely any activity, zero hunt, and events are so much rarer. You nothing to get scared of. It's basically just you're in the house and then nothing happens. However, when a hunt does happen, it does make it a bit scarier because you weren't expecting it. At number 23, we have Spirit. I put Spirit as number 23 spot because I felt like it didn't have any characteristics that were scarier than any other ghost. It's still just a waste of a space, really, because it does nothing that's out of the ordinary. There's no characteristics about it. It's just a simple ghost. In the 22nd spot, we have Wraith, or Wrath, or whatever you want to call it. So the reason I put this ghost slightly higher than Spirit is because it does have an ability to fly, which means it does go much quicker and it can go from floor to floor so much easier and maybe scare you in that sort of way. Other than that, the Wraith is pretty similar to a Spirit, in which it doesn't do a whole lot. In our 21st spot, we have Onryo. A lot like the previous ones, this ghost does not do a whole lot. It's just fire that makes it angry. For example, when you need to get it to blow out a candlelight, it does have the possibility of screwing you over that way. Then there's a sequence where it cuts out 3 candles at the same time, which automatically starts a hunt, which can also scare the player. In our 20th spot, we have Banshee. Now, I feel like people can contradict me on this one, but I don't find a whole lot scary about this ghost. I play alone a lot, so it's really not much different to a regular, like, Spirit, for example. But I can tell if it was a 4-player game, this would actually be quite scary. Because if you're playing solo, you're always the Banshee's target. But if you play 4 people, you don't know who's the target, so you have to be cautious until you recognize who is the target. And then it will be overly aggressive towards that person, which will not be fun for the guy who's targeted. Plus, we have that scream in the parabolic microphone, which I find quite cool and scary because it's very unexpected. My 19th spot, I've got Onryo. The reason I put it in 19th spot is because I find it very, very aggressive when you get into its room, which does make it a bit scary when you have like an increased chance of events. And also, I find it difficult to identify because it forces you to kind of be awkward with your plays to try and see dots with a video camera. In the 18th spot, I've put Poltergeist. The Poltergeist doesn't have very scary abilities. It can be quite threatening when you find a knife going right towards your face, especially if we were playing like a first-person shooter. Our character would be dead. I find that the objects moving can scare me sometimes. In the 70th spot, I put Obaki. Now, I find Obaki very fun because of the shapeshift. You can kind of notice it sometimes if you're playing No Evidence Challenge, which can startle the player a tiny bit. And then you've got the evidences, which I find quite cool, like the 6-finger one. Now, that is a bit creepy, I think, because then you can just imagine what kind of ghost you're dealing with. It could be some sort of mutated, horrible thing. In 16th spot, I've put Oni. Now, I find Oni less scary because it's more visible during hunts, allowing you to escape it a bit easier. But it is the most active ghost in the game, allowing it to do more ghost events and possibly a hunt at literally 50%, which is the only reason why I put it on 16th spot. At 15th spot, I've put Yurei. Now, I find Yurei disturbing in the fact that it can drain your sanity. If you're just wandering about at 70% sanity and boom, it hits you, the hunt can start just like that. Plus, it has the effect of it shutting doors, slamming doors basically randomly, which can make the player jump out their boots a bit. At 14th spot, I've put Myling. Now, Myling is a very vocal ghost, making it a bit more terrifying when you're trying to explore these places and try and find the ghost room, for example, and all you're hearing is like beep, beep, beep. Then other than that, during hunts, you cannot hear its footsteps. And if you're not paying attention to the vocals that it's singing, it can sneak attack you, and it is not fun. Now we're getting to the ghosts that actually do scare people from day to day. In the 13th spot, we have Reiju. The Reiju's here because of its speed. In Phasmophobia, your best friends are electrical devices, aren't they? They help you find out the ghost, see the ghost, all that good stuff. It makes this ghost awfully quick. Plus side to this is that Reiju doesn't consider everything to be electrical. There's only a very small amount of things that it considers to be electric, which is good for the player because it will not speed up. These next 5 are very controversial. It took me about an hour and a half to try and figure out which one should be where. So in 12th spot, I've put Twins. Now I put Twins here because it can be scary when they do like 2 object moves at the same time because it could like startle the player. Problem with the hunting is that one hunt's going to be very slow and the other one's going to be very quick. And that's also quite scary when you're dealing with the quick one. But when you're dealing with the slow one, it's like a nice change of pace. But the quick one, that's just not fun. Also, Twins have a chance to start the hunt in a different room. That's why I put Twins at 12th place. At 11th spot, I've put Yokai. So I've put Yokai here because once again, I do play alone most of the time, so voice chat isn't always used or useful. So that it can hunt at 80% when you're using voice chat, but I don't use voice chat at all, so yeah. Also, Yokai has a chance of not seeing you. It's a very blind ghost. So when you're trying to hide, it does make it slightly easier, but also a bit uncertain whether it's going to see you or not. So now entering our top 10, we have Honto. So I put Honto here because its abilities destroy the player. So first of all, we got the breaker, which is a very important part of the game because you cannot see a thing. Like, if you try to play without a breaker, I've done a video on this, you cannot see a thing. And then a Hontu gets quicker when it's colder. So first of all, turning off the breaker makes it more cold. Then it gets colder. And then when you get into this room, it goes to like minus 10 degrees. This ghost is gaining rapid speed. And plus, it turns off the breaker twice more than any other ghost, making it even more dangerous and even more blind. All this makes Hontu a very threatening ghost. So at 9th spot, we got Mare. Mare is scary because it destroys lights. There's a massive problem when you got your light destroyed in a ghost room and you're trying to, I don't know, look for freezing temps or orbs or any evidence. You can't go in there. The sanity will be drained or the ghost will start getting even more active and it'll just be all bad. And another problem with this ghost is that they can hunt at 60% when you're in a dark room. 40% when you're in a light room. There's 60%. So you could be running about at like 65%. All of a sudden, it breaks the light, decreasing your sanity by 10%, and then it just hunts instantly, like just like that. Its abilities really, I feel, cut the player down. Maybe not the light switch one, because that's sort of useless, because you can just turn it back on. But yeah, it does make the map much darker and much scarier, especially for those who are scared of the dark. And at 8th spot, we got Deogen. So a bit Dio here, because me personally, I like to hide. And when hiding isn't a possibility, I kind of don't like that, because there is a chance when you're doing the evidence things that you do get mixed up with a Thay if you can't see the orbs, which I've done once or twice now, causing me to try and escape a hunt from a Thay without hiding instead of it actually being a Dio. Another thing, a Dio is very quick before it gets close to the player, which allows it to maybe startle the player and maybe scare them a bit more. And plus, it does have that unique spirit box noise, which I find quite cool as well. Maybe not scary, but actually it is quite scary. At 7th spot, I put Moroi. I put Moroi here because it's incredibly quick when you play no evidence and you do like 0 sanity runs and stuff like that. Also, it can curse you in like communication stuff like the parabolic microphone and the spirit box, which can decrease your sanity even further, getting it even faster. But there is an easy solution to this, and it's just sanity pills. There goes all the power of the ghost. But when it does hunt at like 50%, it's really not all that quick. So at 6th spot, I've put Phantom, and I despise Phantom. Maybe not more than another ghost on this list, but I do not like Phantom because I cannot see it. I like seeing, right? We all like seeing. But Phantom, you cannot see doggy. And it's so easy to identify it because of that. It's hard to survive the hunt when you don't know where the ghost is half the time. So at 5th spot, you've got my least favorite ghost ever. Some of you who follow the channel will know who it is, and it is, of course, the Jinn. Now, Jinn can suck an egg. The good thing about Jinn is that it doesn't turn off the breaker, so that's fun for the player because it can see. But that does give it all of its abilities, which is the fun thing about Jinn, I think. Now, having the breaker on does allow it to do all of its abilities, such as like run at 2.5 meters per second when it sees the player, and it's over 3 meters away, and the breaker's on, which is a very specific criteria, but it does happen very often, allowing it to be very quick when it wants to. Plus, its main reason I put it here, it drains 25% of your sanity when you're close to the ghost, which is absolutely ridiculous. You're in this room, right? And it hits you twice. You don't even notice. You're staying there for like, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. It hits you twice. You're already at, what, 40% sanity? It can already hunt. And because you don't think it's a Jinn yet, your breaker's still on. You're standing 3 meters away from the ghost, basically, when it starts hunting because you're trying to run away. This ghost has a combo that is literally ridiculous. Like, it can combo you, bam, sanity, bam, speed, death. In 4th spot, we got Thay. Now, Thay was a tricky one to do. It's really quick at the start of the game, right? If you use a curse of it to get your sanity down to about 60, it can already hunt. And when it hunts, it will be rapid. Like, it will zoom, like, faster than Revenant speed. But the only way to calm it down is to stay in its room. So you have to endure all the hunts, all the events, all the activity until you can get its age down to a point where it doesn't do much. Which separates it from Moroi, because Moroi does the same thing, but with sanity. That can be fixed with a sanity pill. But this can't be fixed with just, like, a sanity pill. You have to actually stay in its room and endure all the events and stuff. That's what makes this ghost terrifying until you get it down to that small age where it becomes bearable. Also, it can confuse the player because when it's really active at the start and then gets like slowly like inactive, you might think it's a mimic, for example, because it could just switch from being, I don't know, a Noni to Shade. It's quite difficult to identify as well. 3rd spot, I've put Revenant. Now, I've got this paper here telling me all the things I did right, all my ranking, and all I've put for Revenant is fast, which I'm not wrong. The speed on this boy is ridiculous. It goes from 0 to 100 really quick. Now, it's not only the speed that's intimidating when it sees you. When it doesn't see you, it takes really long steps, like showing its power. Like, it sounds powerful. Yeah, this ghost is too quick for its own good sometimes. So in 2nd spot, we have Mimic. Now, this is going to be very controversial, I could already tell. But the problem with Mimic is that it can identify the fastest ghost in the game, also the slowest ghost. It can identify as any of, like, the ghosts that don't really do much, like, from Oni, Polter, Goryo. It can identify all of those, that it won't change much. And the ghost changes every 1 to 2 minutes, allowing you to sort of find the evidence you need in that amount of time. Because you could just go in there quickly 2 minutes, come back out, and then it's changed ghosts, making it pretty simple to identify if it changes from Shade to Revenant, for example. So this can be confusing. It can be like you can underestimate it sometimes, thinking it's a Shade, and then it changes. It's all around just not a good time for the player, is it? So now my top 1 scariest ghost will go to Demon. Simply by the name, it's intimidating, isn't it? This demon will not hunt once. It will not hunt twice. It will just keep going. Like, no matter what sanity you're at, it can hunt as soon as you enter the door, anything. Though crucifixes are a bit stronger against it, that really doesn't help much when you're trying to find a bone in like a massive, for example, like prison. It will just keep hunting no matter what distance you are away. And it's not just aggressive on the hunts, it's aggressive on the events as well, making it even more scary because the events are insane. With it being like more like chasing you, less like vocal stuff. Though its speed does undermine it a bit, it's still terrifying when you first enter the door and then like boom hunt. Because you're not prepared, you don't know where to hide, you don't know what hiding places are available. You don't even have instants with you because you're expecting to do a regular ghost instead of bloody demon, just screwing up your game. Let me know if you guys disagree with me in the comments below. I've made a series going through all these maps, all these ghosts, so if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. You might find some ghosts that you might identify because of this video. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.